college, but you were teaching long before that.
I've been teaching a long time. I started in England in a secondary school in the south of England in Essex, in a place called Whittam. And I taught there for 1.5 years, but I didn't really enjoy it very much. And the teenagers were, well, not my cup of tea, to be honest. And so I always wanted to work abroad. So I applied for a few things, jobs in the Times Educational Supplement, sent off applications, and eventually ended up teaching in Sudan. After 5 years in Sudan, basically the civil war was kicking off, the scheme which I was on was coming to an end anyway, so it was time to look for something else. So I remember applying for various jobs in Mediterranean countries, Italy, Greece, Portugal, I don't really remember, and I got an interview for a job in Gijón in Asturias.
I remember that.
Yeah, I said, yeah, that's where I'd been teaching when I first met you. I was there. But basically there was no summer work, so I was forced to look for something to...
So it was a coincidence, you didn't especially...
It was a coincidence, you know, I knew nothing about Asturias before coming to Spain, you know, and most people's image of Spain is, you know, the costas, flamenco, etc., and Asturias is very different. It rained a lot more, it does rain a lot more, it's greener.
What's been the most difficult thing about living here, now that you've been here for a while?
Nothing that was really that difficult, because compared to Sudan, it's really very safe. Very similar to Britain. I mean, I came from a country in Sudan where I would go to the market in the morning, buy a live chicken, and then kill it myself in the evening, pluck it, cook it, eat it. And here, go to the supermarket and buy one. You know, I came from a country where I would, where I had on 2 or 3 occasions eaten live termites, and I come here and obviously the food's very different. Live termites. Yeah. I know it's not a very common delicacy, okay, but people in the country, in certain parts of the country, do it because it's a source of food. It's nutrition. It's, you know, protein or whatever they have. I don't know what they have. It's a strange experience because, well, I won't go into that.
No, tell us.
Well, no, they basically. They only come up, I don't know, there must be various kinds of termites. I have no idea about termite terminology. But they only come up when it's raining. So what these people used to do was get like saucepans or saucepan lids and bang them to mimic the sound of rainfall. And then they would come up and all crawling, okay? And then I imagine that they would collect them and then fry them, which they did after. But what they first did, because they were hungry, is put them straight into the mouth.
How big were they?
Like this. Yeah, something like
beetles.
this. Yeah, I don't know. They weren't beetles as such. They were. It was like a kind of. Parts were crunchy, and parts were slimy. You know, it was really strange. And you put them in your mouth, and they sort of. You can feel them. I mean, they die very quickly, obviously. You know, but it's the same for meat. You eat a live animal, or you eat it dead. What's the difference?
What do you enjoy most about teaching?
Communicating with people. When students are laughing, I think when they're laughing normally they're learning, enjoying, just the contact, enjoying finding out about them and letting them find out about me. Yeah, that's what I enjoy most, actually, you know, being in the class, talking to people.
And what do you dislike about it?
When students don't understand and they get frustrated and you can't find a way to explain to them, then it can be difficult.
So you're affected by their frustration?
Of course. I think it's normal.
What's been your most embarrassing moment in the classroom?
I haven't had too many really embarrassing moments as such. I mean, the kind of things which happen to us all. We write a word on the board and we realise 20 minutes later it's spelt wrongly. Or the other day, for example, someone asked me the difference between one another and each other. And I started explaining, talking about 2 people and 3 people, and I suddenly realised I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about. I didn't know, you know. I've looked it up since on the internet, and evidently they're more or less interchangeable.
What advice do you have for Spanish speakers learning English?
Right. But number 1, for example, people who come here to the council, they have their 4 hours a week. It's not enough. They need to do the homework, they need to do extra exercises, they need to practice as much as possible. They can't expect to come here and only in 4 hours a week progress as quickly as they want to.
Yeah, that's
It's
quite
not
that's quite a
possible.
false expectation. I
It
think
is,
they have.
it
They
is.
pay their money, and
Yeah.
it's not cheap.
It's
And
not cheap
they
at all.
expect in the 4 hours
Exactly.
to learn
They
enough.
expect it. You know, they learn something, obviously. Otherwise, well, they wouldn't keep coming. But they need to do more. Now, I understand they have time pressures. They have, you know, their family, work, other stuff, etc. But you really do need to put time aside for a foreign language.
What do you do when you're not here at the British Council?
I live with my partner, and we have a son who's 9 years old, so obviously that takes up a lot of my time, you know, with cooking and generally living with them and doing things in the flat. Hobbies, I enjoy cycling. I don't cycle very quickly, but I like going out at the weekends. I enjoy traveling, reading, I look at the internet quite a lot. I listen to, you know, all kinds of music, various stuff.
If you could change something about yourself, what would you change?
I think I'm too impatient. I can't stand waiting like many people, but I think my anxiety transmits itself to the people I'm with, and they get nervous as well. So at least as far as my character is concerned, impatience.
Do you mean in situations where you have to queue?
Yeah, queuing, waiting,
Waiting
you know,
for people.
I'm always the first person to arrive at an airport, you know, and then I'm ages there doing nothing, getting bored, but I can't help it because I'm thinking, well, what happens if a car breaks down? What happens if there's a problem on the underground or something like that, you know? So far too early for things, but it's okay. It'll be
Okay,
great.
well, thank you very much.
Oh, okay, thank you very much indeed. But I didn't really enjoy it very much. The teenagers were, well, not my cup of tea, to be honest. And basically the Civil War was kicking off, the scheme which I was on was coming to an end. Buy a live chicken and then kill it myself in the evening, pluck it, cook it, eat it. I think I'm too impatient. I can't stand waiting like many people, but I think my